Is the crash inevitable? I don't know. I go back and forth on that one. Right now, I'm in the kind of mood that says, yeah, it's inevitable. But I don't really know what I mean by crash. I don't know how far down it's going to go. I don't know how much of our structure is going to collapse. Um, I just read this novel, World Made by Hand, written by James Howard Kunstler. He's a social critic, and it's his. I don't know if it's his first novel, but he's not known for his fiction. But it's about America in 2025, after oil has, if not run out, at least become so scarce that it's just not economically viable to run anything with it anymore. So the highways are silent. If you see any cars that haven't been torn apart for their scrap, they got trees growing through them on the side of the highways. But the electricity has gone out. Just for theatrical effect, he threw in that Los Angeles and New York City had been nuked by terrorists because America had been involved in some holy war over in the Middle East, which, while accounts has already started and is about to escalate. Um, Nothing on the horizon is really leading me to believe that something like what goes on in Kunstler's novel is not what's going to happen. Um, we're facing the end of civilization, if only because oil is running out. And yeah, I know on Fox News, I just watched it tonight for 5 minutes. And I watched it for 5 minutes the night before that and the night before that just to kind of see what they're talking about. And every time they were talking about oil. And they were talking about how we have to drill off the coast of our country for oil. And I did a little research and a couple websites, sources that I would trust. But you do your research and see what you come up with and let me know. But it seems like, as far as we know, even with estimates on the um, more generous side, we have enough oil in American territory um, to fuel our usage for about 3 years, um, maybe less, probably less than that. Um, okay, so that's a problem, right? And even if the supposedly mainstream people on the airwaves, the millions of people watch, are saying all we need to do is drill a little bit and we'll be out of this energy crisis. I think the crisis is a lot more severe than that. I think this is peak oil. Peak oil was 2005, actually. We're well over the hump. Um, Civilization will fall because our power source, not the power source of agriculture, which, I know Zach defines civilization as when you start locking the food up, but civilization, at least in the sense of the oil-based civilization, all these plastics, this whole computer, but our cars, the way our communities have been designed, the way we ship food, the way we farm, all of this is based on oil. And when oil runs out, when that energy source is no longer available, we don't just have the technology to snap our fingers and make some magical energy source appear. We have nuclear power, but everybody's a little uneasy about that. And how do you provide that for the third world? How do you allow all of the Middle East to become nuclear when they run out of oil? Or are you just going to force them to buy energy from us because we don't trust them with their own energy? I mean, it's just breeding conflict no matter how you look at it. We don't have the technology to provide cheap, free energy to the extent that oil provided it to us for 150 years. So industrial civilization is ending very soon. Nothing we can do about that. Um, so we are going to have to scale back. We talk about sustainability, but really we need more than that. We need sustainable retreat, because we're way over budget, um, literally and metaphorically. And I watched, I've been watching Zach's last couple videos, watched Gary's last couple videos about civilization, and I watched Everett's response to Zach. And I don't think this is really a rational argument. I mean, we could talk about why, as far as biologists know, more species are going extinct today than at any other point in the last 65 million years, largely as a result of our activity here. But we could talk about all the statistics they use to measure the changing of the climate over the past 150 years. And even if it isn't just because of human activity, and there is a relationship between the Earth and the Sun that causes these climate shifts to occur, it still means that civilization is ultimately a temporary thing, because every so often the Earth wipes itself clean and starts over again. And maybe not just civilization, but Homo sapiens as well. Maybe that's just a temporary thing, and based on what we know about evolutionary history, it's probably the case. But to think our civilization is special somehow, and that we will, because we're destined to, survive indefinitely, because our technology is just so advanced. Oh, it's so amazing. I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool, but it all runs on oil. And as of now, we don't have the know-how, the ability, the organization on a planetary scale to produce the amount of energy that we're used to using. So we've got to retreat, and if not return to nature, then remember that it exists at the very least. That there isn't just a whole stock of untapped resources out there waiting for us to produce into something consumable. At the very least, we have to forget that crazy, not only crazy, but extremely violent idea. Which is why this isn't really a rational discussion, and we can't add rational arguments and evidence and statistics and data and facts and charts and graphs, but really at the end of the day, it's about the attitude that we take towards each other, towards the natural world, and towards how we interact with it and with each other. It's an emotional discussion that we're trying to have, because that's what's wrong with civilization. It's not the rationality of it. It's very rational. It's very efficient on a narrow spectrum of goals. It's not efficient in the planetary sense or the ecological sense, but for human profit. Oh, it knows what it's doing. I mean, it's rational, mathematical. It's as precise as it can possibly be. That's why technology is so amazing. But emotionally, intuitionally, spiritually, it's vacuous, and that's the problem. Not the math, not the science. Science needs a soul, and it hasn't had a soul since it was born, a couple hundred years ago. And our technology is so far ahead of our moral understanding that we're killing ourselves with it. And so, we can be rational, but this is not essentially a rational discussion. It's an emotional discussion. We're sharing something deeper, maybe more primordial than just facts. But our time is running out. All of our time is running out on this system. And I don't know what's going to come next. Nobody knows what's going to come next, because it hasn't happened yet. But something will change. It must, because the oil's running dry. And, I would like someone to tell me I'm wrong about that, but as far as I can tell, the oil is running out. And with it, our civilization.